You've interesting conundrums in the three quarters, I guess. Talk us through Johnny McNicholl making his debut and George North in the centre.
Yeah, I think Johnny Mac's a player we know a lot about. Certainly have worked with him for a number of years now. He's had a good run with us in the Barbarians and has trained well during the week, and so he's got the start on the right wing. George at centre, he's played a couple of games for the Ospreys there, which was great for us. He's obviously played 4 starts, I think, for Wales before in the centre, so it's not foreign to him. And I've got to say, George has trained very, very well, and he's taken the challenge up and is very much looking forward to a fresh start, if you like, this weekend.
Interesting competition at scrum half. I guess it could have been a 3-way comp if Jonathan Davies had been fit, but what about Rhys Webb's challenge to Thomas Williams?
Yeah, certainly they've both trained very, very well. Thomas, we want to see start. He's had more games probably off the bench than he has start, and obviously it's a good test for him, following up his start against the Barbarians where he played very well for us. Rhys has come back, he's trained well, you can see the experience that he brings, so he'll get some game time at some stage during the game, and we'll see how those legs go after being out for a wee while.
And Taulupe Faletau, another man not seen in a Wales shirt for some time. How much of an impact are you hoping that he'll make in the pack?
Yeah, well, hopefully he'll start for us the way he did with Bath. So he'd been out for a while there and came back very, very strongly. So look, he's another person that brings a lot of experience to the team, and it's been great having him around training. So look, hopefully he'll have a good start.
Wayne, Nick Tompkins is in a very chaotic situation at the club level with Saracens. Is that having an effect on him at all, being in this squad? And do you see him trying to come into Welsh rugby sooner rather than later?
Certainly not having an impact on him from what I can see. I've had a couple of good conversations with Nick. He's an intelligent young footballer with a very big future, I think. He's trained very, very well. He's settled in straight away. And he's come from a background with Saracens where, you know, coming into this test squad, he's been around a lot of international level players, so it's not new to him. So that's helped, I think. But he's done very, very well, and he's earned a spot on the bench.
And with regards to George North, do you see this maybe as the beginning of a second half of his international career as a centre?
Yeah, potentially. You know, those are some of the conversations we've had with him, and you know, unfortunately, Jonathan's got the long-term injury at the moment, so somebody or a couple of players are going to get that opportunity to play there, and George gets the first crack at it. So, look, from what I'm seeing so far, what Stephen's seeing and Byron is seeing, we're all very happy. So let's hope that transfers into the match on the weekend.
Rhys Webb on the bench. How anxious do you feel he is to make up for lost time? How much has he missed international rugby?
Yeah, for different reasons, very similar to Toby, really, and they're both itching to get back into it, and you know, they're both quality players. So look, he'll want to get as much time on the field as he can, no doubt, and to show us what he has got after a time out in the game. But certainly before he left, he was, you know, a quality player for Wales and a quality player for the British Lions.
Is it important for you to get a flying start, or would you just settle for a winning start of any sort?
Yeah, obviously winning is important to everyone in round one, and we're no different, but certainly we're concentrating on putting out a good performance. You know, we're conscious that it's, you know, our first time in charge, I guess, and a home game which we're happy about, and with the roof on, I think that indicates that both teams will certainly, we were happy to have it on, and with Franco also, then I think that's an indicator that this game should be quite an open affair.
What do you make of Franco Smith's selection? I guess 2 fly halves playing 10 and 12 might be a key to something.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance to even talk about that as yet, but we've seen it, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. Clearly, that and the roof on would indicate that they're going to move a lot of ball, which I think personally is a good thing to see. So yeah, we'll talk about that later today and again tomorrow when we have a light run. So it'll be interesting to see what they do defensively as opposed to attack. Really, I think we know what's coming. And
for yourself, how do you think it might feel being in charge of Wales in a test match at the stadium? A few years since your last full test in charge of an international side there.
Yeah, 2005, I think I was coaching Fiji against Wales, and that was a great occasion on that day. You know, they marketed it really well, and I think there were 70,000 people, so something similar for this game. So, look, I'm personally really looking forward to it. The sort of year has gone down to months, it's gone down to weeks, and now it's just a matter of days. So now I'm personally very excited, and very excited to see the way the boys are working in and around the environment. It's a pretty good vibe around the place, and they're working very hard for each other, which is exactly what we want.
Wayne, how tempted are you to get the 18-year-olds involved?
Yeah, personally, when we selected Lewis, we looked at the Italian game as being a possibility. Unfortunately, he came into camp with an injury, couldn't train much last week. I think he had the one run, and of course, being exile, had to go home. So he hasn't had the opportunities that Johnny Mac has and Josh Adams has. So it's counted against him, really, the injury and the unavailability. So really too short a time for him. But certainly today when he trained, he looked good, and he's definitely got a big, bright future in the game.
Wayne, you spent a bit more time with the players now. Are there any in particular that have taken you by surprise a little bit?
Not really by surprise. You do your homework, and the players that you're inheriting, you get a rundown on those guys. And to be honest, most of them, if anything, it's been... Any surprises have been pleasant surprises. So, no, I'm very happy with the entire group at the moment. As I said earlier, off the field as well as on the field, there is a good vibe. There's a lot of good conversations going on between the coaches and the players, and a lot of good conversations going on with the medical team. And a lot of discussion goes over the table, and that sort of comes back, and it's all pretty positive. So, we're very happy at the moment.
For people, Wayne, who've got used to 12 years of Warren Gatland Six Nations matches, is there anything different that they should expect perhaps from your first game out of it? Is there a change they might be able to pick up?
Well, I think the first thing is we're no different. We're passionate about the game, and we want to win. And at the end of the day, I think most people will take an ugly win over a pretty loss. So very conscious of the fact that for us it's about focusing on how we want to play the game, making sure we prepare well and making sure that we put on a performance that we as a group are proud of. And if we can do that, then I'm sure the spectators and everyone else will enjoy themselves. We are working hard on our attack, and it's going to take a little bit of time. Some of the skill sets need to improve, but certainly where there's a will, there's a way, and at the moment the boys are very willing, so pretty good start in terms of training.
When you said that you're not just here to, a psychological thing, defend the title, you want to win it again. Do you think, from what you've seen so far, you can do that and you will do that?
Well, this coaching group want to win it, because we haven't won it before, because we haven't been involved. So for us, it's certainly not ours to defend, and I don't think that's the right mental approach to have anyway. It's last year. We've got to go out there and everyone starts on zero, and the Italians are in front of us, and we've got to knock them over, and then we've got to worry about the Irish, and then the French, the English, and the Scottish. So that's the way we're approaching it. And to repeat what they did last year, we have to win every game, which we know is going to be very difficult, but that's certainly going to be our aim, and we'll take each weekend as it comes and work very hard to try and achieve it.
Just on the Italians, they haven't won a Six Nations game for a long time, 5 years I think. In a way, does that add a little bit of pressure by the fact that everyone's just expecting you to roll them over on Saturday?
Well, not really, because we've just been, as you could imagine, the first couple of weeks with new coaches, we've been really drilling down on how we want to play the game, and the whole focus has been on evolving the attack, making sure that we're strong defensively, that we have an attacking defence where we want to get the ball back. So an attacking mindset across the park, really, and just making sure that we're doing the work to be able to do that over 80 minutes. So it hasn't really allowed us too much time to think about what's happened in the past and certainly what the Italians will bring. We've spent probably today talking a bit about them, but the rest of the time has been about ourselves, really, and trying to get that performance that we're looking for first up.
Wayne Davies, what's the prognosis on him?
Sorry, say again?
Josh McNicholl.
Yes, he's had an injury to a hamstring early on in a training. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday, and we've had a scan, so there's some damage there, and he'll be out for a few weeks. Exactly how many weeks, I couldn't put a number on it, but certainly the medical team will be doing the best they can to get him back as quickly as possible.
Wayne Warren used to talk a lot about the English best players and the fact they have to go back. You've already touched on it there. Does that emphasise the fact that you want to bring these players back, and is it a long-term concern? Someone like Louis signed a long-term contract?
Yeah, Louis and I have had a chat about that. Lewis, I should say, and the more players we've got playing in Wales does benefit us when we're in camp. There's no doubt about it.
And in terms of goal kicking, you've got two good options. Who's going to pick it off?
We've had some good conversations actually, and that's why we pay Neil Jenkins. So he's going to have to come up with that answer. But look, I think we pulled out some stats, and over the last so many years, they've been ranked number 1 and 2 in terms of their success at this level of the game. So whoever goal kicks on the weekend, we've got a pretty good options.
One round starting for the first time in a Six Nations, involved in a Six Nations game for the first time. What are you looking for?
Leon? Yeah, he's on the bench. Leon's a young prop who is nowhere near the finished product. He's doing a lot of good work, as all the props are with John Humphreys, and he's learning a lot. And he's getting better and better each training session, to be honest. He's come a long way in a very, very short space of time. So he's an exciting prospect because he fits the profile we're looking for. He's generally a big man, which helps at the line out. He's actually very quick in training too. He's got fast feet. So it's just getting into good habits and making sure that he can repeat good performances week in and week out. And certainly, I think he deserves an opportunity, and he's trained well.
When you mentioned this test debut, it's been a long time coming. Do you allow yourself a moment to let it all sink in before kick-off, or is it straight business for Saturday morning?
It is business as usual. But it will be a special moment, and I'm sure internally I'll enjoy it, and I'll have a smile on my face. Internally, that is, and but no, it'll be a very proud moment.
Have you got family coming to watch the game as well?
Yeah, I've got my 2 sons are over from New Zealand, and one of them brought their partner, so they're pretty excited about being here, and obviously my wife and stepdaughters will be there, so it'll be a great occasion.
When was Scarlets injury? Will he be alright for round 2?
Yeah, he's look, if it was a World Cup final, we would have considered him, but it's not. It is the opener of a competition, which is covering 8 weeks. So we've got to make sure when he does take the field, he's 100% fit. So unfortunately, wasn't quite 100%, but he should be fine for next week. Same with Owen Watkin in a similar boat, and Liam Williams is improving daily, and the plan there is to hopefully have him right for next week.
Wider afield, Wayne, who are the unbeaten teams going to be at the end of round 1?
Who's playing in the other games? No. Look, it's going to be an interesting couple of games. All 3 of them for different reasons, but I wouldn't really want to predict. But I can see it being a titanic affair in Paris, and Ireland, Scotland again. Round 1, everything to play for. So yeah, look, I just think they're all going to be pretty exciting matches.
Are you surprised that you're behind Ireland as well as England in the bookmakers' odds?
No, not when you look at history and who we've got at home, who we've got away. I think that's without a shopping fight. I think it's probably a fairly normal approach.
When you've had 2 hamstring injuries in the first 2 weeks, is that just bad luck, or do you have to look at the way that you've been training in the last 2 weeks?
Well, we're talking about the ground. It's very, very soft, very heavy underfoot. We've had a lot of rain. So, yeah, the surface is something that's being discussed, and there's not a lot we can do about it at this stage. The weather is the weather.
Is that what you've done, this training at the stadium?
Yeah, well, from our point of view, it's just getting a surface where, we can do some scrummaging. We haven't completed a scrum down there all week.
Well done. Thank you very much.